Week to go before Zimbabweans head to the polls in the country's much anticipated presidential and parliamentary elections to date. Now, the front runners are the current president Emmerson Mnangagwa of Zanu-PF and the MDC's Nelson Chamisa. For an update on what's happening on the ground, we joined now live via Skype by Ephert Musekiwa, SABC News Correspondent in Harare in Zimbabwe. Ephert, good morning. So, exciting times, of course. But what's the mood like in Zimbabwe?
Well, exciting times indeed. We can tell that we are reaching the home stretch. A lot of activity happening around politically. Observer missions, I think we've had so many that are now on the ground. And, everyone is now anticipating. Yesterday with the Electoral Commission, informing us that they are ready to go, everything, they have their ducks in a row, and all they are waiting for is for the Monday election. We also have the police, like you heard earlier on during the show, also confirming that they are also ready for this election. They have everything set up. They have, put everything, all their preparations are in place, and that they are also ready to go ahead with this election.
Ephert, is that sentiment echoed by people on the ground and, of course, by the politicians themselves? Do they agree that it is all systems go, that the Electoral Commission is ready and the police? All right, seemingly just lost that connection to Ephert. Just check if he can hear me. Ephert, can you hear me? Well, seemingly not. Ephert Musekiwa, of course, our correspondent in Harare in Zimbabwe, and we may have just dropped that line momentarily. But interesting, as Leanne's earlier interview indicated, it's interesting that the SADC observer mission to Zimbabwe are saying that they are not likely to endorse this particular election. And that comes, of course, to the next question that I had for Ephert, which is, of course, about whether or not the politicians are in agreement with the sentiment that Zimbabwe is in fact ready to go to the polls. There was the question of the voters' roll, which I of course will ask Ephert about as well, because with less than a month to go, there was still no up on the voters' roll to the politicians, the candidates contesting the presidential election. Some of them were complaining about that. And then, of course, we also had the elders going there, as was indicated in your earlier interview as well. What did they have to say? Does that make any sort of difference to what is happening there? And, there's so much going on in Zimbabwe at the moment, and everybody's headed there. Everybody has a say about what's happening there. But what are the people on the ground, the actual people who are going to be affected by this? What do they have to say about the country's readiness to go to the polls?
All right, well, hopefully we'll get Ephert back on the line and we'll be able to hear from him, particularly pertaining to the people and what they are feeling ahead of this. Let's quickly take a break. If we get Ephert up, we'll continue the interview. Otherwise, we'll bring you your sports news straight away. Stay tuned.